Although I am certainly not a cheerleader for Russia, actually, as many of my listeners know, Russia has an ace, and they don't know it. And maybe somebody's going to say, "Yeah, we knew this all the while." But what's going on today is global cooling, not global warming. I don't know. Some people are going to argue me about this, but the reality is going to show up one way or the other, and they say, "Well, well, say whatever you want," but I just say it's a cycle of just a natural cycle that's been going on. Now, this is Buffalo, New York. You know what happened up in Buffalo, New York just recently? They had a record snow in some parts of the city. I mean, not every part, but southern Buffalo and actually south of Buffalo, which is more of the snow belt. They got like 8.5 feet of snow inside of a few days, which is like what they get in the whole season. But it's not just there. It's all over the world that's going on. And I had a hard time actually looking for non-commercial images, and actually it was very hard to find some of the images because it's almost like, I don't know, it's like maybe they don't even want you to find these things or something, or any kind of information. So you're going to hear it from this channel. So here about, everybody kind of knows about what happened in Buffalo, New York, United States. It got warm. Actually, some parts in the middle of the country got up in the 50s. But I'm going to tell you this. When we go into when they had the global mini ice age before, the mini ice age, what happened was extreme temperature fluctuations. Before there was cars and stuff. I'm not going to argue with people about this stuff, but I'm just telling you, historically, that's what happened. They had extreme fluctuations in temperatures. Nothing was predictable, but just a couple degrees difference in the global temperature makes a major difference, right? So it's sunspots, it's the Earth magnetism, it's volcanic activity under the oceans, blah, blah, blah. It's all doing this stuff. So whatever you want to believe, it's going to happen, okay? So Buffalo had a lot of snow, right? So also up in Michigan, there's been also like all kinds of record snowfalls early on in the year. I know things quieted down a little bit, but it's all over the world. In England, southwest England, they had a lot of extra snowfall. But the thing is, it goes warm, and this is typical of when things go into the mini ice age. The temperature extremes are radical. You can be in the 50s in the wintertime, then all of a sudden you have almost like a blizzard. That's typically what happens. It's not like cold all the time, but you do wind up getting a lot more snow, which is, I'm bringing up a point here about Russia because, Russia's basically a big damn gas station. That's really most of their, that's most of their GDP, right? And, they're trying to crush Russia with, bringing down their gas prices. I know it's also hurting the U.S. So, I mean, maybe you could say it's, if they're trying to crush Russia, they're also crushing the U.S. with the same thing. I really don't know exactly what's going on 100%, but I find it peculiar that Saudi is doing this right now with the higher oil production because OPEC started as a reason to limit production, slow down production to keep the price up, not the other way around. So it's weird that Saudi's doing this, but I guess Saudi's doing this because they are going against Iran, which is their arch enemy. Also, besides maybe just Russia, and also the fracking oil industry in the U.S., right, and the tar sands in Canada. So here in Ukraine's been having record snowfalls. You don't hear this on the news, right? Ukraine. I mean, this isn't like, yeah, it's wintertime, it's snowing, big deal. No, they've been having record snowfalls in Ukraine. And actually, I'm going to get on to some more of this stuff. Japan. Certain areas of Japan, I know northern Japan gets a hell of a lot of snow. They deal with it. But they've already had as much snow in areas of Japan as they get in a whole year before even winter even started. Winter's already started now. It's January 2nd. But before winter was actually officially there, Japan, in some areas in northern Japan, they had more snow than they have in a whole year. As a matter of fact, in Ukraine, they've already had that kind of situation too. Okay? I think it was, there's other areas too. Now, I know it's not like all bad news. Some people like snow, especially the cats. You can make a cat snowman. These are made by some cats, right? So cats make snowman too. They get in there, you got the little mama cat, papa cat, and a little baby cat, kitten. And they're making a big snowman and put the cats in there. But I'm telling you, this is actually Russia's ace in the hole because, I almost think that I tend to, I wouldn't be able to prove this, but this is actually Russia. Here, if you look at this light pole here, this is actually this red light right here where the red light is. That's 10 feet up. So tell me there's a hell of a lot of snow. This is in other parts of Russia that get a lot of snow, but they don't usually get that much snow this early on. This is like unusual. They're getting clobbered in Russia. They're getting clobbered in China. They're getting clobbered in Japan. They're getting clobbered everywhere. Ukraine, Eastern and Western Canada, USA, even Maine, USA has had far more snow than normal. I know it's going like hot, it's going warm and cold, but that's basically how it starts. So over the next 20-something years, we're going to be getting colder and colder and colder. I'm telling you, this is actually Russia's ace in the hole because, and it's also going to be clobbering the U.S. because there's a lot of people on food stamps, and what happens is when you have a lot of cold weather like this, the price of not just energy goes up, but also the price of food. So Jimmy Rogers is probably going to be correct about his bet about agriculture. Big time, to the max. Agriculture is going to be the number one thing. Now, there's a lot of ways around this. I mean, there's like crops like, sweet potatoes are like one of the most nutritious foods out there. The sweet potatoes with the orange in them because they have the carnitine in them. And that orange color is actually, I think it has turmeric in it too, besides the carnitine. It's a very nutritious type of vegetable, and it grows in the ground. It's very much not susceptible to frost. So there's a lot of things you can do, but the thing is you got to know ahead of time what's going on to make the right decision. People aren't, nobody's doing the right decision, especially the governments. Now the thing is, if the food prices go up, if everybody's still, say the government's still able to give out the money for, food assistance, food stamps, or whatever the heck it is you call them. I don't know if it's food stamps or food assistance. The thing is, if people can't afford the food because the price went up and they still got the money, well, they're still going to be hungry, and that's going to cause a lot of civil unrest in the USA. I think this deal is actually legit. This is one of those things where I'm not, I was privy to this stuff for a number of years, but now I'm realizing this stuff is going on. It's been going on the last couple of years, but it's really going to be starting now. And I'm thinking, wow, this is kind of interesting when they're trying to squeeze Russia with oil and bring down the price. And I'm thinking, how the hell are you going to keep the price down if we have a record cold winter, like the coldest winter we had on record in 100 years or something? Going back to the over 100 years if it's the 1800s. We already broke records going already back to the 1800s in the USA, but this is all over the world. This stuff is going on all over the world, and it doesn't mean like it's cold every day, but it's like fluctuating up and down, up and down. But it's enough that it's going to create a lot more demand for fuel oil and natural gas. Now, this is actually up in Sweden, the ski lifts. Now, I know it snows a lot in Sweden. They got snow up there and they go skiing. But they had so much snow they had to clear freaking the ski lifts away. They had the icicles on the ski lifts. They had so much snow they had to remove it because they had twice as much. They had 2 seasons worth of snow already, and the winter just barely got going. They already had 2 whole winters worth of snow in Sweden, and the winter just got going. You hear that on the news? Does Al Gore tell you that? No. I'm not trying to really knock this stuff with clean air and clean earth, but I'm telling you that I'm making a point here, and I'm not a fan of Russia. I'm definitely not a fan of Vladimir Putin or Russia or anything like that. I'm telling you, this is probably reality, and it's a miscalculation on the part of the West, man, big time. I ain't running the freaking show in the West. If I was, I'd be playing another strategy. So here we have Canada. Canada actually is getting clobbered too, especially in Western Canada, and actually Eastern and Western Canada is getting clobbered a lot in extremes. Western Canada, for the last 2 months, has been 10 degrees colder than normal for the last 2 months. So they don't really mention that. You know why? Because global carbon tax, man. We have global warming, so we have to have a global carbon tax. Yeah. Actually, global warming would be a good thing. You know why? Because there'd be more freaking land to farm, so you could feed more people. You'd have a longer growing season. So, I don't know, man. I really hate to put that out like that because, man, so many people have been brainwashed by this global warming crap. It's amazing. I was surprised that people are. I've been privy to this. And I mean, I'm not like a conservative, staunch conservative, like, oh wow, you know. It's almost like I just realized there's a game going on where money pays science to tell them what they want to hear, right? We want you to take global warming because we want a global carbon tax to fund the global government. So, but the thing is, I'm pointing out here in this video is that the whole plan on Russia is gonna have to backfire because if we have, I don't know this, like I don't know the future, but the science that I'm seeing seems to make a lot more sense as far as global cooling. That's due to the Earth's magnetic fields getting weaker, the underground volcanic activity greatly increasing beneath the oceans, which is actually helping block out the sunlight above, which is actually warming the oceans a little bit, which means there's more precipitation and evaporation of water into the air, but at the same time it's blocking out sunlight. And also the sunspot activity is also showing that the sun is going into a cooling phase. So all the conditions are right for lots more snow in the winter, man, which means there's going to be a lot more demand for natural gas and fuel oil. So anyway, and this is Palermo, Italy, Sicily. Now, you know where Sicily is, Palermo. It's the most, southern island of Sicily, right, right by the toe. It's, Sicily's got warm water. Palermo's right on the water. And they had a lot of snow accumulation. I know it probably already melted. But this is unusual as anything for Palermo. Extremely unusual. This also happened in southern Greece this year. Not last year, the year before. This year, already. Early winter. Not really on the news or nothing because, people say, hey, Al Gore, what's up with that global warming? I mean, I always like throwing stuff at him because that guy, Al Gore, I know, like his own home, like his personal residence, man, he doesn't even believe in like saving anything with the earth. He doesn't have like what do you call it, the solar panels or nothing. He's got like heated pools and his electric bill must be like mega bucks, man. He just wastes all kinds of freaking energy. He doesn't care. He doesn't even use anything renewable. The guy's a hypocrite to the max. I'm all for renewable energy actually, but I realize Al Gore is a hypocrite. Even if you are for, I am for renewable energy. Believe me, I am. But I'm just telling you, I think the game with this global warming agenda garbage is going on where they're paying the scientists to come up with stuff. Like, hey, we want you to say, do a study how global warming is affecting us. And they're already telling them we need to have that study to say global warming because we want a global carbon tax to fund the global government. Now, that's a side note, but I'm telling you, I think this whole plan where they're trying to keep the oil prices down to bust Russia ain't going to work long. And the weather is going to be the thing. The weather's going to be the thing. So now, if you're in the USA and you're a good old boy, you got to get yourself an old-style 57 Power Wagon with some chains, baby, and some big-ass, super swampers on that puppy because who the hell knows how much snow we're going to get. I mean, it's probably going to be, we might be getting into records that you never heard of before. Like your father's never heard of, your grandfather's never heard of, anybody, going all the way back because, actually I think it was in the 1600s or something. Yeah, it was in the 1600s. You used to be able to walk from Manhattan to Staten Island over the ice for 6 weeks out of the year. You know that? It was frozen over. It was frozen over, man. Back in the 1600s, they used to have permanent ice pack up in the Baltic Sea, so you can walk from like Scandinavia to Denmark, and they had permanent roads and hotels built on the ice pack that was there all summer. It's possible that over the next 20 years we're going back into that, which means there's going to be a lot of strength and money going into Russia. No way in hell are you going to be able to keep the oil prices down. The only way they could do that is if, they found some new Tesla energy or something like that, or I don't know. Nobody's bringing that stuff out because, the truth is, everybody's in the oil racket, including the West, the Chinese, everybody. The Chinese elite are in the oil racket, even though they don't have oil over there. They're all in the oil racket. Everybody's in the oil racket, man. They don't want something to. If there was some free gizmo out there that you can create all kinds of energy. The oil barons wouldn't allow it until they could find a way to make money. Because they got to keep you on it. Well, water's going to be the way to try to. They're going to try to make you money, but that's another scam. But I'm just going to tell you, man, we're going into serious ass freaking. I don't know if I want to put it that way. Serious ass freaking global cooling, and Rosneft is going to make a lot of money, man. They're going to make a lot of money. Terra, you know, what the hell is that? iGas, whatever it is. No, I don't know what the hell it is. Terra, Rosneft, you know. Putin's going to be getting more money, man. Vlad's like, good, bring it on. Actually, you know what? I don't mind this guy. You know I see a lot of stuff about this guy, but I don't really mind him as much as a lot of other people. But to tell you the truth, they're all a bunch of crooks on the top. I don't know why. It gets me. It really burns me is when people in the West say this guy's the good guy fighting the bad guys. I'm saying they're all the bad guys, you dummies. Well, how am I going to freaking convince people? I can't. They're all the bad guys. But he's going to make a lot more money because it's almost like the same old game that's always been with Russia, man. It's always been. You remember like Napoleon tried to invade Russia? And you know what happened? They had a super unusually cold turn of weather when that happened too. It wasn't even like they were so stupid to invade Russia because they knew the weather was, they know Russia's cold, right? But it turned out to be extremely, extremely cold, far beyond more the normal times, and that's what protected Russia. When it was almost like a fluke thing. Now, and the Russians would say that was the protection from God, but it was whatever, God, the weather, whatever. But it's the same thing. It's going to happen except in a different way. They're not having an invading army. They're having some computer algorithms trying to keep the price of oil down or something. I don't know how they're keeping the price of oil down because even with Saudi, we've actually had an oversupply of oil for the last several years. So why did it go up to $110 a barrel on the Brent, right? I don't know. They've been saying that because they'll always tell you it's because of tensions in the Middle East. Well, there's still tensions in the Middle East, right? They're bombing ISIS, right? Iraq is breaking up. If oil was right now 120 on the Brent, they'd be saying it's because of tensions in Iraq, because Iraq is breaking up. Well, you know what? The freaking game's rigged. We know this game's rigged. But I always have this on the bottom of all my silver videos about the oil price commodities being rigged. There's ongoing lawsuits. They said the game's been rigged since at least 2000. It was actually the former head of NYMEX. He's actually part of this lawsuit, the former head of NYMEX. It's rigged, man. I know. The thing is, but when Russia's, when they're trying to punish Russia and Iran, whatever, well, they're screwing up the American industries. But the thing is, they're not even screwing the oil industries up in America because all that infrastructure is there. Actually, what's going to happen is the big Wall Street guys flush with cash will buy them up for pennies on the dollar. And, since everything's there, they can always get them going real easy again when oil prices go back up. So, but I think the aces, the cold winter weather is here now. It's not going to be like St. Petersburg. I don't know, Russia, whatever this is. Russia's going to be like a big icicle. Now, the problem is, though, they're going to have a problem with food, man. That's their problem. Their crop productions are going to be lousy. And, I think even Ukraine's crop production is going to be lousy. Because you're talking about stuff that's going to be colder than it's been in centuries. That's coming up over the next umpteen years. Which to me means Russia's going to be looking for something in other parts of the world. It's almost like, there could actually be a fight between Russia and China, too. You don't even know. Because China's going to need the oil and Russia's going to need the land for agriculture. It may not be a smooth thing. You don't know, man. But, seeing that how things are, St. Petersburg, that place is a lot colder than Moscow even. But, it's going to be buried in snow to the max. Now, they're going to make a lot of money, I think, on oil, though. I think oil and heating fuel, there's not going to be any magic technology that's going to come out even in the next 5 years on a widespread basis. No way. I mean, there's a lot of ideas out there that might be promising, but they don't get to market cheap. Maybe they will eventually when the price of oil goes up through the freaking roof. Yeah, then it'll be like do or die. Then they'll have to find something. But in the meantime, it's going to create a lot of civil strife. Not only it's going to create civil strife in Russia too, but in Europe and in the United States, Canada, Mexico, you name it, man. This stuff is actually going to cause a lot of turmoil. The weather itself, man. Now, you as an individual don't have to be screwed up by this. Get yourself your 57 Dodge Power Wagon with the 6-cylinder, 12-valve Cummins diesel, and you can run it on vegetable oil. That might be too bad. But, the thing is, there's going to be a lot of problems coming up. Now, this is Russia. And actually, I pointed out that really Russia, the part of Russia that is really Russia, where everybody lives, is over here by Europe, on the European side. Okay? So, if there's actually a problem, it actually, to me, what it means is there's going to be a lot of pressure on Europe from Russia in the event of a weather change like I expect. They got an ace. In other words, when the weather keeps its onslaught of severe cold. Now, all these people over here on this side of Russia, yeah, it might be a little colder, but the thing is they've been dealing with it forever and a day. So say, yeah, it's a little bit colder. Well, it's probably not going to be that much colder here in these areas because they're freaking already going down to like 40 below zero as it is in a lot of areas over here. Krasnoyarsk and Saka and everything. And this peninsula here is, I forgot what the hell its name is, but this peninsula out here, man, they get clobbered with snow left and right. It's not going to be that much different. But where it's going to actually be a major difference is on the other side of Russia, where on the western side of Russia, where it's close to Europe, where most of the population is, and it's actually going to put a lot of money in the coffers of Russia, and it's also going to create a lot of pressure for them to make inroads into Europe. So, anyway, we'll see how this all works out. But the ace for Russia is the weather, baby. I'm not cheerleading them on or not. I'm just telling you the reality of the situation. The weather. It's not like the West. Well, maybe they are. I would have figured this, though. I would have figured this because it's almost like they're trying to play the Napoleon deal except with the financial angle. That's what they're doing right now. I don't think it's going to work. I'm not trying to be like the alternative media is where they're always cheering for the downfall of the USA. I'm not cheering for the downfall of the USA at all here. I'm just trying to present a rational, real danger that this weather deal is actually the ace that Russia has. It's always been their ace, man. Napoleon, Hitler, other invasions of Russia. So the weather's always been on their side, man. Good old Mother Winter, man. Good old snow and ice, So Putin's probably going to make out for this deal. Now, I don't worship this guy because he wears pajamas and he does judo and stuff. I don't really dislike him either, It's like, I don't really think one way or the other about the guy. The truth, and some people misinterpret that. I just get pissed off when the people in the West think this guy's gonna save us. I'm like, he ain't gonna save us. What are you kidding me? He's another guy. He's up there. He's a politician now for number one. He's making more money for himself, man. He plays angles to keep his popularity, and he's got his brainwashing operation going in Russia today. That's the whole deal with this guy. And but they're gonna make more money. They're going to make more money. Rosneft's going to be rolling in cash, man. I don't see how the hell they can keep the price of oil down. I think it's impossible. Why? And, I don't know this for fact. I could be putting this video out and, maybe we're going to have like this. I don't think so, though, because I've already seen loads of indications. We could have this unusually warm winter across the world, I know they're going to show you pictures of glaciers falling in the ocean, but, as the ice pack expands, the glacier gets pushed off over the water, and then there's no land under it. That's why it falls in the ocean. They fall in the ocean when the freaking ice pack expands too. So anyway, get your 57 Dodge Power Wagon with a 12-valve Cummins, some big ass chains on it, stuff like that, and lockers in the front and rear. You'll be all right. And a jug of vegetable oil on the side, pour in there. So. But Palermo, Sicily, southern Greece, Loads of snowfall. Early winter. Canada, Western and Eastern Canada. Western Canada has been about 10 degrees below. I'm repeating it. 10 degrees below normal the last couple months. I don't know. What the hell's the deal, man? I don't know. Sweden, they had to close down the ski lifts because they had too much snow. They had 2 complete winters worth of snow already. They had to remove snow from the ski lifts. I'm laughing, but I'm like, global warming. Hey, Al Gore, you think Al Gore don't? Al Gore. I don't even like Al Gore. If Al Gore was a guy out there that had solar panels on his roof and windmills on his property, I'd at least have respect for the guy. He doesn't do that. He uses a regular freaking electricity. He's got gazillions of dollars. He just pays a big fat electric bill to heat his gigantic Olympic-sized swimming pools and stuff like that. Huge amounts of square footage under air-conditioned space in the summer. Damn hypocrite. Anyway, and then you got Russia. Russia's, almost up to the top of the street light in some areas. I mean, come on, Of course the cats are staying warm in their little cat igloo. So the cats always like this. So, but I'm just saying, Russia's not gonna. They got an ace. I mean, I'm not planning. If I was, I'm on the side of the USA. If I was in D.C., I'd be playing another strategy. I don't know what it would be right now, but I know this strategy ain't gonna work right because of. We're going to a super cold winter, man, and it's already started. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. Like I said, Japan, parts of Japan, there's places in Japan that got as much snow as they get all winter. Like the areas of Japan that get a lot of snow normally, they might get 100 inches. They already got 100 inches, just like Buffalo. Just same thing happened in China. Same thing happened in Russia. This place in Korea, same thing's going on. I mean, come on, man. Ukraine is getting clobbered with snow left and right. As a matter of fact, they're getting low on coal for that reason. So, I don't know. So, what can I tell you, man? Southwest England's got a lot of snow. More unusual. Not every place. And like I said, the temperature goes up and down. Like there's places, when you Buffalo, it had all that snow and it got really warm for a little while and it all melted and stuff and flooded out. And you don't hear about it on the news anymore. Michigan got a lot of snow. Unusual amounts. Maine got way more snow than normal already this year. Maine, USA. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, man. I'm telling you that they're miscalculating this deal with Russia, man. I don't see how the hell they can keep the price of oil down. It's all electronic gizmo stuff, and I don't see how they can do it. Because what's going to happen is it's going to go up to the freaking, it's going to go up fast, real fast, all of a sudden, even without any kind of tensions in the Middle East. I don't see how they can keep it down. But over the next several years, this global cooling garbage is hitting us. It's going to get colder and colder and colder for the next 25 years. So that's going to be pretty good for Russia's coffers. So, I mean, back to the drawing board there, DC. You got to think of something else, man. I'm not privy to these meetings. I'd be telling them what the deal is. I know they got loads of people out there telling you global warming, but I know what that is. That's for the global carbon tax to fund the global government. If you're trying to scam that way, don't try to scam yourself too. You know what I mean? God. So anyway, just word to the wise here, and we'll see. Anyway, so I don't want to put this as a doom and gloom video because there's loads of this out there. But if you get really cold, make yourself a little cat igloo and hang out with the little cats inside of it. So anyway. We shall see. But I think Russia does have an ace. The same ace they always had. It's the same ace they have always had, except it's going to play out in their favor in a different way. And I'm not a cheerleader for Russia or Putin or anything like that. I'm just giving you the reality of it. That's all.